Yes. Okay. Anyhow, what what are you gonna do, right? So I've decided I want to just do a video about just whatever. Since it's all about bullshit. Richie from Boston Sideshow bullshit. That's all anything is about. It's the Jays. More. It's always somebody, right? There's always somebody to blame. There's always some evil force we must fight. It's the welfare queens. It's the Jays. It's the welfare queens. It's the Bill Gateses. Never the middle class, though. That's very interesting. Never is the middle class, is it? Very strange. Middle class, or even perceived middle class, might be the place to hang and to hide out, because the middle class are always the darlings, right? So even if I'm not middle class, if I look as though I'm middle class, that's a good place to hide. Nobody ever suspects the middle class of ever doing anything. It's always the master class and the welfare class, the welfare class and the master class. Never the middle class. Yeah, I might start investing in a middle class kind of appearance, so I can just hide in the middle class thing, because those people aren't they always just the darlings, the lapdogs of society? Everybody loves the middle class. They're so innocent and pure, right? Yeah. Anyhow, so because that's all everything is all just bullshit like that, right? Pretty much it's all bullshit. So I'm gonna do a bullshit video. This is all more bullshit. So I'm gonna start a series called I think I might call it like lazy life hacks. Lazy life hacks. Because I think everybody just needs to tone it down and just kind of relax a little bit. All this intense coverage of it, how everything is shadow governments and brink of World War IIIs and genocides and FEMA conspiracies and it's us versus them. And how about let's take a break from all that? I actually might start up another channel and call it Lazy Life Hacks. So I found this the other day. I've been looking for one of these, okay? And I was actually looking for something a little different, but this was only $2, and it was at one of these smoke shops or whatever. And so this is interesting. And I didn't even know. It was only $2, so I figured, fuck it, I'll get it, just to see. So this is why I got it. So smoking is very expensive, especially if you want to smoke like higher quality tobacco that isn't fucking pumped with all kinds of chemicals like cyanide and all kinds of poisonous chemicals, and you just want natural tobacco. Natural tobacco is very expensive, so I always go with American Spirit. I would like to investigate into cheaper methods, but American Spirit has been known over the years to be kind of organic and shit. Bad habit hacks. That's what this is called. Not lazy. Not bad habit hacks. That's what this is. A bad habit hack. And because everybody always wants to talk about how we must do good things. We must always be good. Well, that's just not realistic now, is it? So because I don't drink or do drugs and haven't for over 23 years, I'm not perfect. I do have vices, and I am trying to minimize my vices and minimize these things. But because I'm not perfect, I'm going to have, bad habits. So this is Bad Habits Hacks, episode 1, for smokers. So cigarettes are a vice that I still have yet to master. And cigarettes are expensive, especially again, if you want to get the cigarettes that aren't injected with cyanide and all kinds of other poisons and stuff to, get a person more addicted and blah, blah, blah. So I roll my, I try to, well, I have to now because it's so expensive. I can't afford to buy these cigarettes all the time. So anyway, so I'm rolling a cigarette, and I'm rolling it fairly fat, pretty fatty. Again, this is Bad Habit Hacks, episode 1. And if you're a smoker, sometimes it can get, especially if you're kind of like to spoil yourself and buy the pack of cigarettes. And well, I've got the can also, so that when I run out of these and I'm in a pinch, I can smoke a rollie. But if you're familiar with all the rollies, like they could kind of be a little bit much. So I got this. This is the best I could find, but it was only $2. And so what you do is I just put it inside this, and it really helps a lot. It really does. I mean, doing it this way makes it so much more like smoking a filtered cigarette. It's almost equivalent to a filtered cigarette, which I prefer to a rollie. Okay, so it was only $2. I'm sure I don't frequent I do not frequent smoke shops, but I have been looking for one of these. I'm probably, if I really want what I'm looking for, I'm gonna have to go online. But for $2, this is a good bad habits hack. And another thing that I experimented with that actually makes it even better, dude, is I take a filter from a cigarette, right? And then you just put the filter on the other end. Like so. Let's see, yeah, like so. And at this point, you have the equivalent of a fucking boom, one of these. I'm not even kidding you, dude. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was so proud of myself. Like this bad habits hack that I found. It's just the I don't even know what the fuck they do. It's probably for joints or something. It's just this glass thing. And so you see where the nicotine is starting to build up. And I've got Q-tips. You can just take a Q-tip and probably some alcohol and just Q-tip that shit out. But you can see the nicotine is starting to build up in it. And then on this side, it's not. That's because I put the cigarette on this side. So yeah, this was like $2, and I didn't even know. It was so cheap. I was like, fuck it, I'll try anything. And so I tried it, and it works. It works great. So even if I don't have a filter to put on the other end, it still works very well. It's way better than to just smoke a non-filter. Like just putting this glass thing on the end is so much of an improvement. But then if you take a filter and you put it on the other end, man, you've got the exact equivalent of a fucking, and these cigarettes, they're like, shit, man. They're like 75 cents per filtered cigarette when you buy it. That's about how much they come to per cigarette. So anyways, so the next thing I'm going to do, because you can actually buy filters. You can buy the filters, to make a cigarette, but I'm not interested in like making cigarettes, because especially now that I found this. So I'm going to buy filters, and then I can just put a new filter inside one end and roll up a cigarette and put it on the other end. And boy, I'm telling you, man, it is like the equivalent of a fucking, it's perfect. Watch. Let's try it out, see. Yep, it's just exactly like having one of these. Only I'm just rolling them out of the can. This $2 piece of glass, man, makes all the difference. So, bad habit hacks. So I think I might start a channel called Bad Habit Hacks, and I'll leave maybe a link in the description or whatever. Because, dude, this Bad Habit Hacks, there's many Because everybody's doing the good habit things where they're trying to encourage people to develop good habits. Well, I'm going to start bad habit hacks. I'll show you what a lot of it is going to be largely based on. Is this right here. This is the Underachievers Manifesto. A guide to accomplishing little and feeling great. Now, you might think this has got to be either a terrible book or a joke. Neither of those. You would be incorrect. It is neither of those. So this basically is a very easy read book on bad habit hacks. Because we all have bad habits. So instead of, putting unreasonable expectations on oneself to remove these bad habits, we might as well learn to accept them as a part of our life and accept that we're probably not going to overcome all of our bad habits overnight, and therefore we need to learn how to kind of navigate with these bad habits and deal with them in the most healthy way. All right? So I'll just go into reading a little bit of this. Any of you who are familiar with my previous channels know I have referred to this book in times past. So let's just start at the very beginning. The first page says nothing other than simply good enough. Good enough. Like fuck perfection. Perfection is an impossible expectation to put on anyone, including oneself. Therefore, we may as well stop striving for perfection. It is a meaningless endeavor to expect perfection of oneself, or yet let alone anyone else. So these first few quotes kind of go into how this is actually a well-known philosophy in times past, with a Lao Tzu quote that says, "At no time in the world will a man who is sane overreach himself, overspend himself, overrate himself." That's Lao Tzu. Here's another quote from archaic literature. "All is vanity. What do people gain from all the toil at which they toil under the sun?" That's Ecclesiastes 1, chapter 1, verse 2 through 3. And then we've got from the poet Rumi, says, "Sell not yourself at little price, being so precious in God's eyes." Then it's broken down into the chapters, and we'll just go ahead and start on chapter 1 and just read a little bit. What does this say? If this isn't a joke book and this isn't a shit book, what is it? So introduction. Here we go with the introduction. "Congratulations! Opening this book is the best decision you've ever made." There. That was easy, wasn't it? "The pleasures of underachievement are many, but they are all too often lost to the pressure for success," or success. "The achievement lobby is powerful, and underachievement is, surprisingly, not as easy as it should be. Our world is so full of unrelenting messages about being the best you can be that it may not have even occurred to you to try for anything less." Excuse me, I'm sorry about It may not even occur to you to try for anything less than the very best, okay? "We've been brainwashed over many years to believe that striving for success is essential to our well-being. Be number one. Don't settle for second best. Give 110%. It's an endless, exhausting litany thanks to advertising stars and corporate executives busy cashing in on our inadequacies for their overpriced sneakers and shiny BMWs. Never mind that no one agrees on what it means to be the best, and that it's actually impossible for everyone to be it, whatever it is. Maybe you're working really hard at resisting all that. But even if you are, chances are you're still striving in some way to live life to the very best. And it's killing you. Consider how many brilliant careers are coupled with disastrous marriages. How many talented, hardworking people smoke too much, exercise too little, or drink themselves into oblivion each week. At the other extreme, how many fitness-crazed or hyper-competitive individuals tear up their knees running marathons, etc., etc., or risk life and limb scrambling to mountaintops. How many brilliant and ambitious people dream of winning accolades for their genius only to wind up working for their C-plus colleagues like Richie from Boston and shit. And even if you do manage to just about maintain a full sprint schedule of personal and professional achievement, it can take something as commonplace as COVID-19 to throw your highly tuned enterprise stressfully out of whack. What you've never realized all these years is that it's your commitment to excellence that is the source of your trouble. And that's where this book can help. So this is kind of the premise for my idea of bad habits hacks, right? So I'm thinking I might start a channel called Bad Habits Hacks. But yeah, this little piece of glass, this little glass thing here, it's like, wow, I'm really proud of myself. It was only $2. I mean, this thing will pay for itself many times over. I'll save so much money just rolling my own cigarettes as opposed to, buying filters. And I don't need to have a cigarette machine that cha-chinks with all that. No, I just roll it. Very simple. Just roll it, stuff it in the glass, and fucking smoke. So there's your Bad Habits Hacks, episode 1.